Welcome to Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains. Today we're revisiting an old show with Clint Bradshaw.
Yeah, good morning, Larry, and thanks for having me. It's good to be here with you guys. I just want to tell a little story today about kind of more about one of your previous videos that you guys did. You know, I met Larry through this YouTube channel, and kind of just been a fan of this YouTube channel for quite a few years now. One of my favorite videos on the channel was about Larry finding the Canadian Club whiskey. I just thought that was a neat video and kind of a cool historical thing that had happened. And so I actually was working out in that area where they found that. And a cool thing with that video is they didn't tell you exactly where it was. They kind of left that a mystery.
Right, Larry, this is fantastic. We are out in the thick of things now. We are out here on location where one of the few treasures was found, and it was found by you. To the right of us here, we have Gonzales Butte. Behind us, we have Weaver's Needle and the old Apache Trail. We're inside of that, and yet we are at a historic site. Let's go take a look here because we even have a marker to mark where you found one of the lost treasures, one of the only treasures out here that's actually been found.
I actually downloaded the video on my phone, took some still shots, took some still photo shots of that, and was holding up where Larry and I think it was Charlie at the time were standing, and was trying to figure out where exactly they were out there, you know, in the Superstitions off of Highway 88, because they said that as much in the video where they were. And so I kind of had narrowed it down, but it took me 3 times going out there to actually find the old sign and to find, and there's still the hole there where the Canadian Club whiskey had been buried. And so I finally did eventually find it. When I saw the sign, obviously it was all shot up. The writing on it was all rusted off. You could maybe see 1 or 2 letters. It had been shot full of bullet holes. And so I just thought it would be maybe kind of a cool idea to restore the sign, to bring it back. So I got with Larry and talked to him a little bit about that. And he gave me the verbiage or the writing of what the actual sign had said. And so I got that, and then I kind of sat on the idea for a while, and then just this year when the weather got good, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and finish that project of restoring that sign. So I got with Larry and talked to him a little bit about it, and we kind of refined what the sign had said, and tried to get as close as we could to what the actual sign had said back in the day when it was put in there in 1978. And so I found, so, you know, and I was kind of thinking, you know, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on the project, but I found some old steel out at work that was actually part of an old dumpster, and we were able to cut some pieces out of that now. And I went up and I measured the sign, and it's 18 by 24, almost exactly, from the post. So the actual sign inside the post is 18 by 24. So I measured that out, went out, I cut a couple of these pieces of steel, or a friend of mine helped me cut some steel out of those old dumpsters that was 18 by 24, and I kind of grinded those off. They were kind of rusted on one side and then they were smooth on the other. And then I was just trying to think about how what I wanted to do is I didn't want to paint it because I felt like the paint would fade. And so I wanted it to be, I thought, well, if we could carve through the steel the wording and then put a background on that was painted, and so the letters would show up. And Larry just happened to have a good friend of his that knew a company that did exactly that kind of work over in Phoenix. And so he got a hold of them, and then I ended up getting a hold of them and talking to them over there, and they made us this sign for relatively inexpensive. And so they made us the 18 by 24 sign with it cut out. What I did is I took one of those pieces of steel that I had, I painted it white, and put several coats of good paint on it, and then I welded that onto the back of the part that had the sign that had the letters all cut out, so you could see the white in the background. And then I took the other piece, because I had 2 pieces that I'd cut out, and I was going to use that on the back of the sign. So I got that all done and figured out. I have a little welder. I'm not a very good welder, but I kind of got it done. Contacted Larry. Me and Larry went out there, and I had a generator and my welder, and I prepped the sign. I had to do some grinding on it and some hammering to get those bullet holes all flattened out. And we welded the one piece on the back of the sign, and then we welded the sign, and we welded the actual original sign on the front. And I think it turned out really nice. It's really good, and the way it's built now with that carved in the steel, it'll last forever. So Larry's name is immortalized and will always be forever in up there in the Superstition Mountains. He really liked it. I think he thought it was great. You know, I think he's a very humble man, so it's, you know, it's not like that he was looking to have his name carved in there and immortalized on there, but I think it needed to be done because of his historical knowledge and how quickly he had found that case of whiskey that was buried up there is significant, and that it's a good story, and it you know, shows how awesome the history of Arizona is and how many cool things there are in the Superstition Mountains. And so, you know, I think he really liked it, and I was glad to do it. All right, so here we are on site of the sign restoration. You can see my foot's here in the hole where the actual case of the Canadian Club whiskey was buried, where Larry found it. You can see the restored sign here. I'll just read you what the sign says. This is what Larry said that the original sign said, and we tried to stay as historically accurate to it as we could, but it says, "On this site, in March of 1978, a case of world-famous Canadian Club whiskey was buried. It was hidden as part of a worldwide hide a case ad campaign. Using the clues given, which were also the clues leading to the Lost Dutchman gold mine, local resident Larry Hedrick found the case on November 7th, 1978. All right, folks, so we'd just like to invite everyone to come out and explore. We're not going to tell you exactly where the sign is, but come on out here to the Superstition Mountains, and of course, you know, be safe and bring plenty of water and come in a good time of year. Come and find the sign, come and admire it. We just ask you please to respect it as a historical marker and not to deface it in any way. And we've also put a code on it you can scan, and that'll give you more information about the history of this cool sign and this cool story, and realize that it's a cool part of the lore of the Superstition Mountains.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains.